Would I be the asshole for uninviting my parents to dinner? My partner and I recently moved in together. During the first 6 years of our relationship, I was working towards my degrees and supporting my parents financially due to my father's unemployment. This situation severely impacted my mental health. My partner was my main support system during this time. After my father found employment, I moved out and started living with my partner. We are deeply in love and thankful for each day together. Prior to living together, we were in a long-distance relationship and only saw each other monthly or every other month. While at a thrift store, my partner and I came across a beautiful wedding dress. Later that night, our fortune cookies contained messages that felt like a sign from the universe. We shared the moment with a few close friends and my mother, who responded dismissively, saying, "Whoa, slow down. He just got here. You just met him, lol." Her response made me extremely upset. My partner was hurt by the comment, which seemed to invalidate our long-standing relationship. My parents were supposed to come over for dinner today, but I am currently feeling too upset to face her. You are not in the wrong here, but it's crucial to communicate why you're feeling hurt. Hopefully she'll apologize if she's mature, but it's valid to want some space for now. It's possible she didn't mean it the way it came across, so giving her a chance to explain might be helpful. If she does apologize, it might still be a good idea to postpone tonight's dinner and reschedule for the future when things are clearer. Am I the jerk for making my spouse carry their own stuff on a camping trip? My husband and I, along with 2 couples we are friends with, decided to go on a backpacking hammock camping trip. All of us, except my husband, are experienced campers. I was very surprised that he wanted to go, but also happy that he wanted to participate in an activity I enjoy. Before the camping trip, we all met up multiple times and discussed what to bring. We agreed that we needed to pack as lightly as possible since we would be carrying everything in backpacks and sleeping in hammocks. My husband also agreed with this. On the day of the trip, my husband packed 8 outfits, 5 pairs of shoes, 4 pairs of swim trunks, and 5 pairs of pajamas, along with an inflatable queen-size mattress, matching sheet and comforter set, battery-operated air pump, portable white noise machine, laptop, tablet, portable hotspot, and charger. Naturally, he packed more than anyone else. When we arrived at our destination with our friends, it was a several-mile hike to where we planned to set up. My husband started trying to delegate to the others who should carry what of his stuff. I told him that we all agreed that we would each carry our own gear, which meant he was responsible for his. He argued back, saying he had more than he could handle and needed help. I reminded him that he knew how much to pack, that there would be lots of hiking, and that he didn't bother to use a backpack but instead brought 2 full-size roller suitcases. He told me I was being petty and that he was new to this, so I should give him a break. He then tried to get our friends on his side by pointing out that it was his first time camping and he didn't know what to do. I interjected and said he had been part of all our meetings to prepare, heard everything that was said, and chose to disregard it. I then encouraged our friends to stick to our agreement that everyone carries their own stuff, and said it's not fair to me or anyone else in our group to put extra burden on ourselves by carrying my husband's stuff because he made the poor decision to grossly overpack. After a short debate, everyone else ended up agreeing with me, and my husband had to carry his own gear. My husband ended up being far more worn out than the rest of us because of how much he had to carry. Now he's tired, cranky, and sore, and still saying I was unreasonable to expect him to carry all of that on his own. Am I the asshole for making my husband carry what he packed? I think you are not in the wrong here, and it sounds like your husband is the kind of guy who thinks he knows more than everybody else. He insisted on using the roller suitcases because carrying a backpack was too embarrassing for him. He knew it was an unreasonable amount to carry, which is why he started trying to have other people carry his stuff. Good on you for forcing him to live with his poor decisions. Am I the jerk for wanting to tell the truth about my partner's ex? I'll get straight to it. I have been with my husband for almost 8 years, married for 4.5 years. His family has never liked me. They never knew me at all, or ever spoke to me, or included our son in their lives. It was made abundantly clear that they didn't approve of me, but I never knew why. Until a couple of months ago, I had only met my mother-in-law, and I had never met his dad before he died earlier this year. Father-in-law refused to ever meet me, and would not accept our son as his grandchild. That changed last summer. All of a sudden, he wanted to meet us. I allowed our son to meet him, but I didn't want to. Too much water under the bridge for me. Our son and father-in-law had a short-lived relationship, but a close one. He got to know his grandfather over 8 months before he died. I had gotten to meet my husband's family at father-in-law's funeral. My husband and I organized all of father-in-law's affairs and had to get a loan from my mom to pay for the funeral. None of his family offered any help or thanks. They were standoffish with me. After talking to one of his nicer relatives, I discovered why father-in-law and the family hated me so much. Husband's ex. She had told some lies to father-in-law about me, and he believed them. It was enough to make him despise me and, by extension, my son. She told him that I had stolen husband away from her and their daughter, that he was an adulterer. It's simply not true. Ex also told father-in-law that husband wasn't paying any child maintenance support, so father-in-law gave her money regularly. My husband pays almost £230 sterling per month in support, by the way. He always has done. Father-in-law found this out last summer. He cut her off, and that prompted him to want to have a relationship with me and our son. As a direct consequence of her lies, my son missed out on years with his grandfather. I hate her for it. But I discovered that she is in fact a cheater. She has been with her boyfriend for 5 years now. However, the first 4 years of their relationship, she was his side piece. He was engaged to another woman which he lived with. X knew. She knew he was in a relationship, but carried on seeing him. Inevitably, his fiancée found out about X and the other women he was cheating with and broke up with him. They have been in a legit relationship now for just over a year. X is literally a home wrecker. After years of my husband's family thinking I was capable of being that kind of woman, it turns out that she, who is ever so loved and adored by my husband's family, is a very bad person. To add insult to injury, X told husband's daughter the same lies she told father-in-law, and the daughter believes her, which did cause issues for a while between husband and daughter. I want to tell his whole family the truth about her and just destroy her. Let people see who she really is. Am I the a-hole for wanting to do this? Nothing you've done here makes me think you are the jerk. You deserve to be vindicated, and it's important for your name to be cleared. Discuss with your husband how to go about this respectfully, and make sure he informs everyone that Phil discovered everything, which is why he tried to make amends. Focus on the relief of having your name cleared, but remember not to dwell on the actions of the ex, as it's healthier for your relationship with your husband and his family. Am I the jerk for pulling out of my friend's bridal party? I was the maid of honor for my friend's wedding, along with 2 other bridesmaids, Anna and Jess. The bride was not involved in the wedding hen's planning process as we wanted the activities to be a surprise, and we would also be paying for the bride's head for all activities. Our agreed plan budget was $500 each. However, Anna suggested changing the plan to do a weekend trip, increasing the budget to $1,000 each factoring in accommodation, food, etc. Paying for the bride. I raised my concerns with the bridesmaids because I felt stressed about dropping $1,000 in one go for one wedding, as I do not have a full-time job. I only work casually 2 days a week. I also had to use the money I had saved for the wedding on a family emergency. The bridesmaids, however, work full-time. When I brought up my stress to the bridesmaids, they tried investigating my financial details, aggressively asking me if I paid rent, what I spend my money on, why and how often I support my family financially. I explained that although I don't pay rent, I also don't get paid as much as them. Anna said, "So get a second job," implying that I'm not working hard enough. I need to work harder to fund this wedding. I felt pressured by them to spend more, as they claim that they are in worse financial positions than me, and if they can pay, I should too. They both then called me disrespectful for being concerned about money because I don't pay rent. I told the bride everything, how I felt uncomfortable and invalidated, like I wasn't allowed to feel stressed about money because I don't pay rent. She agreed they were unnecessarily aggressive, but agreed with them that I was disrespectful for being concerned when I don't pay rent. The bride expressed her hurt in how quickly I threatened to pull out. I explained that me pulling out would not be because of money, or that I didn't want to be her mo, but because of how I was treated by the bridesmaids. I'd rather pull out sooner than later to avoid more future conflicts. She ultimately agreed that I pull out, knowing that she wouldn't enjoy her day, knowing that us bridesmaids had beef. A few weeks later, I asked the bride if everything was okay between us. She said it's expected to have a shift due to my immature actions and how I blew everything up and felt hurt that I quickly pulled out of the bridal party. I explained again why I pulled out, above paragraph, and if she refused to understand how her friends made me feel, which led to my decision, then I can't change her mind. She then said, "I'm not rehashing this conversation so you can feel good about being the victim." For the past few weeks, I was made to feel like a bad friend and I started to believe it. Am I the asshole for pulling out of her bridal party? Were my actions immature? Nothing you have done here makes me think you are the jerk. Expecting a 22-year-old to have a spare $1,000 is ridiculous. This trend of destination weddings and lavish henbucks nights is just too much. Your financial situation is none of their business, and it's self-centered to expect people to strain their finances for a party. Honestly, you're better off out of it. They sound exhausting and shallow. Am I the jerk for not being more excited about the expensive gift my parent got me? Currently, my husband, child, and I live with my parents in their home. My parents are snowbirds, so they are only here about half the year. They are well off and do not charge us rent. In exchange, we look after the house and do the majority of the housework and just generally try to be helpful and agreeable roommates. Last week was my birthday, and my parents were in town for it. A few days beforehand, my mom started hinting that she had gotten me something big. She seemed really excited. The day came, and we had a small party at home. We ordered takeout from my favorite restaurant, and my husband had gotten me a couple of nice things I had been wanting. Finally, my dad brought out a large box, and my mom was practically jumping up and down. I was getting excited too. Then I opened the wrapping to find a KitchenAid stand mixer. The mixer and accessories altogether cost about $500. Here's the thing, I hate cooking. I know how to do the basics and I do my fair share of cooking in the home, but I get no joy from it. My mom knows this. We have talked about it many times, but my mom loves to cook, and she loves to bake. In fact, she has been talking about wanting one of those mixers for years. I guess she could see the disappointment on my face because she started trying to convince me how amazing the mixer was. She went on about all the attachments and accessories and how it's top of the line. I tried to feign interest. I smiled and thanked my parents for getting me something so nice. But my mom was now noticeably disappointed by my reaction. We moved on to the cake, and after dinner I was focused on getting the baby ready for bed. The next day, the mixer was still in the box, and mom started giving me a hard time about it. She kept making comments about how you'd think I'd be more appreciative of a $500 gift, and that if someone had spent $500 on her birthday gift, she would have pulled it out and started using it right away. I went ahead and got it out and set it up just to appease her, but I still have not used it. Honestly, I don't even know what to do with it. I don't bake. I told my mom that she should feel free to give it a test drive, but she responded that it was mine, not hers. Now she's saying that she and dad might go back to their beach house earlier than planned. I'm just not sure what she expected. She clearly thinks I'm being an but it's just so obvious that she bought that gift for her, not for me. I would have rather her spent way less on me and gotten something I could actually use. But maybe I'm just acting like a spoiled brat. So Reddit, am I being an here? You are not the jerk. If your mother knows you don't cook, then the amount of money she spent on it is irrelevant. It was not a good gift. When she calms down, have a simple conversation with her along the lines of, Mom, I do not cook. I appreciate the gift, but I will not give it the use it deserves. Am I the jerk for letting my sibling be homeless? I am a 38-year-old male living in a small condo with my wife and our 1-year-old son. Previously, I lived with my brother for about 5 years. We left our family home due to our emotionally abusive mother. Our challenging upbringing was exacerbated by the absence of our fathers, which instilled in me a strong sense of responsibility for him. During the time we lived together, my brother pursued numerous get-rich-quick schemes. I shouldered our financial burden, even working as a server after losing my tech job. At one point, my brother managed to earn a substantial sum online, but he squandered it all on gambling and weed. Our relationship changed dramatically after I reconnected with my university sweetheart. My impending marriage and relocation to another city meant that my brother needed to become independent. He accused me of moving too fast and forcing him to move out quickly. I helped him secure accommodation and a job, but he quickly reverted to his previous lifestyle and was eventually evicted due to non-payment and other issues. Fast forward to the present. After an accumulation of misguided actions, he is financially drained and legally troubled. He reached out, desperate to stay at our condo. Given the limited space and our new responsibilities as parents, my wife and I were reluctant but willing to offer him shelter under strict conditions to foster responsibility and rehabilitation. A maximum stay of 6 months, mandatory employment, cessation of drug use, no internet access to prevent gambling, and contributions to household chores. My brother, however, felt these conditions were too harsh and restrictive and said I am the asshole and set him up for failure. Because of this, we decided against accommodating him and his girlfriend. Instead, we purchased bus tickets for them to return to their city. As they continue to struggle, he blames me for his current situation. We now don't talk because of this. I find myself questioning whether our stringent conditions and decision not to house him and his girlfriend were overly severe. Am I the asshole? It sucks, but it sounds like he had years to prepare and squandered the opportunity. Your restrictions for providing support again are reasonable, especially considering you have a young family to care for. The rules were set up to help him, not to hinder him, and it's time for him to take responsibility for his own life. You are not responsible for an adult's life, period. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.